Luna loves the spotlight, and she leaves us with the primary story this week between many a void moon and our eclipse. But we also have the Mercury Cazimi. So welcome back to our weekly walkthrough where we bring the above, below, and talk about the transits you should know. This is our week of August 24th through the 30th. To start off, there is indecision. We have the Two of Wands, we have our needle point, yes and no, and the indecision between what we planned and what is available, what was intended and what will actually work. There are obstacles, there is noise, there is the background distraction of life and uncertainty. And on Monday, we start off on a wobbly foot. Because for Moon Day, we get at 12:30 a.m., which is Sunday for some of you, because we're up in mountain time over here, we have the Capricorn Moon square Libra Venus. And then after that, we're void of course. Void of course, again, is when the moon is not making new aspects for a set amount of time. Modern void of course is until she hits the next sign. Traditional void of course is 30 degrees or more. And we have both this week. But for Monday, we're just looking at a 26-hour void of course. It'll spill over into Tuesday. And we have the Two of Swords, specifically the guillotine version. This is not just a rock and a hard place. This is recognizing that you are in a double bind, no-win situation. Any choice you make is going to have consequences, and there's a stalemate. But what you can choose to do is exercise the secret third thing and walk away. Like, if neither option is good, do you actually have to take either of them? That's something I want you to think about on Monday. Like, when faced with bad choices, sometimes the answer is to not make one. We jump over Tuesday, and we get at 3:01 a.m., we're out of the void and into an Aquarius moon. Leo Mercury will conjunct the south node and oppose the north node. Then we will have the moon square Chiron in Taurus, and then we'll get our exalted Mercury at 5:04 a.m. Mercury jumps over into Virgo, and happy Virgo season again, because we are officially in it. We're gonna get the Aquarius moon conjunct retrograde Pluto in Aquarius, sextile Neptune. For my asteroid friends, we will have Vesta stationing retrograde in Aries at 12:01 p.m. Mercury will trine Chiron, and the moon will trine Uranus. So we have dancing death. This is not about making the changes, but about living through those changes. This is about really recognizing that the act of transformation isn't the big moment. It isn't the catalyst. It's the willingness to consistently maintain those changes. So I want you to bring in the fun on Tuesday and do that while we do have some traction. Be like, yes, things are shifting. Yes, we're still in eclipse season. Yes, everything's up in the air, but how can I move with the things that I've already decided to change? And move in a way that makes it more enjoyable, because it's happening either way. Wednesday, we have our Aquarius moon opposite Jupiter in Leo, sextile Saturn in Aries, trine Venus in Libra, and then we get another void, of course, moon for 21 hours, which will start at about 4 p.m. Mountain Time. We have the Empress, and the Empress that actually has her baby with her. And so with that, I want you to really sit with the notion of how to be grounded in what you're manifesting. So it's like, yeah, we're keeping things moving with dancing death, but on Wednesday it's like, okay, and how do we keep them lush and sustainable? How do we not only enjoy the process, but ensure the roots are deep? And I do feel like there's a lot of building and resourcing energy placed on Aquarius right now, with what's coming up in the cards, and just intuitively there is, like, death is very Saturnian. Aquarius is one of our Saturn signs. this particular Empress is associated with Aquarius up here. And we also have a couple Seven of Swords, which are the last decan of Aquarius. And so with all of that, I want you to really think about, like, how am I building the resources as we are moving towards this full moon eclipse? Like, what is the moon gathering in that Aquarius sector of your chart that is going to fuel the eclipse action? Where are those resources? And again, if you haven't seen previous readings, like, the advice with the void of course moon is it's not for starting things, but it's a really good time for cleaning, for maintenance, for organizing, for just getting things finished and put away and thrown out, and really just like solo mission energy. So this week, the solo mission is to pay attention to what is resourcing you. We move from there to our eclipse day. And our eclipse day is also our Mercury Cazimi day, where Virgo Mercury will be at the heart of the Virgo sun, and that's at 11:03 a.m. That is a big clarifying point, especially with the exaltation of Mercury there, for mental insights, conversations, really figuring out like problem solving, and just like good communication insight days. Normally people would elect around then. Some people are offering electional windows on the 26th to be a little bit safer, even though you don't get the true Cazimi, because eclipses are volatile. Doing things on eclipse days, they're always a little bit higher risk. And so with that, we do have our Seven of Swords reversed, and it is the court jester version. And this, I really want you to ask, like, where are you refusing to see things? Where are you eclipsing your own insight? Where are you refusing to acknowledge the truth of a situation, or letting others deceive and mislead you because it's easier, and because recognizing the truth is too hard? Like, it is, the consequences of that would require too much work, because we are going to follow that Cazimi with the moon conjunct the North Node in Aquarius, then dropping into Pisces at 1:03 p.m. And that's when we're really just going to feel the eclipse energy. As soon as the moon hits the sign of the eclipse, everything turns up. And we'll get a sextile to Chiron. And then at 10:18 p.m., we get the full moon eclipse. Usual eclipse advice applies. I do have a post on it if you don't know what that is, but I tend to err on the side of caution and not viewing eclipses, and just cleansing, and especially like checking if it's hitting anywhere heavy in your chart or anywhere directly, especially if you're a mutable sign or a water sign. And really, you know, at a minimum, cleanse, be respectful, and be prepared to be physically tired and emotionally tired, and give people a little bit more slack. We're going to follow the eclipse up at 11:20 with an opposition to that Mercury, and a square to Uranus. Then we're jumping over onto Friday, and we will have Mercury square Uranus, which feels like a lot of tech snafus. I'm also wondering about like the Seven of Swords reversed possibly being like data breach stuff happening with this eclipse, compromised security systems. And then we'll get the moon trine Mars, which is the last aspect before a traditional void of course moon. And the traditional void of course moons, it's no aspects for 30 degrees to a traditional planet. So that means Saturn and inward. And this is a bookended Mars to Mars void of course, which also makes me nervous. That means our last aspect to the moon that carries through is to Mars, and our next aspect carries through to Mars. And that won't be till Sunday. Now there are, like, Saturday is just void. Like, we're just in the liminal space. But, like, when we're still on Friday, we also have the Sun-Uranus square. So this could also be, like, data breaches and things around leaders. But we have the world reverse. And, like, the vibe of Friday feels very, like, we didn't finish things. Oh, my God, the stuff that was supposed to happen didn't happen. And now it's not done. And everything is a mess. And, oh, my God, what am I going to do? And the answer to that is do what you can. and stay as grounded as you can and recognize that we're still getting information. Information is coming out, whether consensually or not, and information is key. So gather what you can and keep track of it. And then for that Saturday, where we literally don't have anything until the moon moves into Aries at 8:37 p.m. and then still nothing, we have the lovers. And this particular lovers is a little menage a trois with our voyeur out in the bushes. And so Saturday feels like really figuring out who is involved right now in all of the energies and all of the upheavals, and like, where is there a person present that is not being acknowledged? And are you that person? Like, where is the dynamic not as sustainable? Where is someone's yearning leading it astray? And from there we move to Sunday, where we'll have the moon, like the modern void, of course, will end because we'll get the moon sextile Pluto, conjunct Neptune, and sextile Uranus. But the traditional won't end until 7:38 p.m., where we'll get a mutual reception between the Aries moon and Cancer Mars squaring each other. And then the moon will square Jupiter in Leo and conjunct Saturn in Aries. And we have our very dragony devil, which is all about hoarding and excess and indulgence. And then we have our Seven of Swords hiding from the beast. And this feels like people have gone a little feral. Like that long stretch of void upon void upon void that has really been a signature of both eclipses this season is leading people to overindulge, to feel adrift, to, it's an eat your feelings day. It's a wander listlessly trying to figure out what you're doing. And I want you to think about where you can apply discretion to yourself and others and actually try to stay on mission. Use those feelings of being out of control. Instead, harness that chain that you've let go of and use it to pull yourself forward towards goals in small and more sustainable ways. It's okay to indulge occasionally, but don't get lost in it. All right, we've gone way over time this week, but let me know what you think in the comments. Happy eclipse season. We are almost out, at least of the eclipse. We still got the wind down, but it is what it is. And I will see you next week.